My name is Victoria and I'm Ukrainian, but I've been living in Poland for 4 years. I consider myself multilingual. I speak Ukrainian, Russian, English and French. My family is small. I live with my daughter. Well, we mostly speak Ukrainian and Russian because these are the languages that we mostly use in our home, and also we use English sometimes. So that's. I would say that both languages are dominant, Ukrainian and Russian. That's because of the, linguistic environment we grew up, and in the southern part of Ukraine, most people speak both languages, Ukrainian and Russian. I think it was just the situation. As I said, the linguistic environment is that we mostly speak Ukrainian and Russian, so I cannot say it was my choice. So it's just the natural way to communicate in our region. So that's why we use both languages mostly, interchangeably. It's a very interesting question. Actually, due to my work, we had to move to the United States, and that's where she learned English. She was immersed in the language environment, and that's how she picked the language. And I'm absolutely happy that she can communicate and use English, in a natural way, because I believe that's a great asset in the future for her. And speaking about Polish and German languages, for example, because she speaks 5 languages overall, I believe that these languages offer great employment opportunities in the future. And also when she wants to learn something, she wants to know about something, she can watch a lot of different videos in different languages. So I'm really happy that she's absolutely fluent in all these languages. I think yes, because we have this kind of tradition, family tradition, to switch languages, and it's a very interesting game that we play. She would ask me some words in German, and I would tell her how this word is in French, so we compare languages. It's a kind of linguistic game that we like. Also, we can discuss different topics in different languages. For example, if she tells me something about her favorite, maybe movie star, she would use English and we would discuss it in English. So I think we use different languages, maybe depending on the topic, so that's kind of maybe special. I would start with her kindergarten, maybe, because, as I said, we lived in Ukraine, so she spoke Ukrainian and Russian back then, and it was kind of natural, as I mentioned, because most people speak both languages. However, Ukrainian is the national language, is the main language of communication. So when it comes to my family, for example, when we moved to the United States and then we moved to Poland, there were some concerns whether it's good for her or not, because she could mix language, it's a kind of general concern. But definitely people were supportive, and I think they see great benefits that she gained learning multiple languages. So I think due to the fact that we were traveling, first of all, for example, teachers in the United States, she was immersed in wonderful bilingual programs. So these teachers were trained and they were prepared for having bilingual and multilingual kids. So in Poland, it was interesting because I think teachers didn't have enough experience teaching multilingual, bilingual children, and basically maybe I don't remember any confusion actually, and the attitude was quite positive, but probably there were some difficulties in communicating, at the first, but then it just turned out to be perfect. Yes, I would say that, as I mentioned before, in the United States, we had a wonderful bilingual program. So the child learned language smoothly and without any, any difficulties, any stress. In Poland, we also had some extra language lessons, Polish language lessons that she had as a foreigner. So, and teachers were really, really helpful. So they were very patient and very helpful. So I would say school helped a lot. Yeah. In general, most people are just surprised. I think it's, when they hear how many languages she can speak, so they're just surprised, and I think it's a very positive attitude. The question is always, well, isn't it confusing, right? So speaking so many languages, I would say I think she's not confused, and I have never heard from her any complaints. However, she switches languages. Yes, she can start saying something, speaking, for example, Russian, and then she would switch into English. And sometimes she switches from Ukrainian into Polish because languages are very similar, so that happens really. And some people might find it difficult and they to understand why she does that. So, but overall, the attitude is positive. I think the biggest challenge was to maybe not persuade her that that's good for her, just to let her know that that's a great benefit and skill that she will gain for her life, So because when she was 10, we moved to Poland, so she was asking me, why do I need to learn Polish? Because I speak English, so I understand everyone understands me, so why would I learn Polish? So maybe that wasn't a challenge, it was just a period of time when I had to explain her that you have to learn the language of the country you live in. Well, I believe doubts, generally, a lack of knowledge of what it gives, and doubts that parents have, and misunderstanding and maybe misunderstanding of what it means to be or to raise a multilingual, bilingual child. People are concerned about, mixing languages or getting their children confused maybe by bringing them bilingual, but I would say definitely it's not true. So, and I think that's the biggest concern that parents face. I think maybe materials, because basically when we speak about school, right? So that's probably because most schools, depending on the country, but as I said, in Poland, for example, there were not enough maybe books or materials for teachers to support them, and they couldn't maybe provide enough support to parents. But basically, what else? Maybe some knowledge back then when I'm thinking about myself, when I was, at the very beginning of this maybe adventure as a parent of a multilingual child. So I think maybe a little bit more knowledge of what it is to have a bilingual, multilingual child. I think, in nowadays in a global world, it's so important to speak many languages as you can. For me, it's a great pleasure. It's a hobby also, learning languages. And I can see that she enjoys it. So I believe it's a great asset that she will have for her life in the future. It's a pleasant experience, and we keep enjoying that. As I said, our games, when we play games, when comparing languages, when we try to learn something from each other, she teaches me a lot. And I'm discussing with her a lot of things. So I enjoy seeing that she understands the world better through different languages. She understands cultures, she understands maybe some kind of different perspectives that people have, and she's just open to the world. I think that's the best. definitely I would say go for it. You don't have to doubt whether to raise your child bilingual. If you speak 2 languages or 3 languages, just speak to your child in a consistent way in a one language. For example, if a mother is a French speaking person, so speak to a child in French language, and your husband would speak maybe in English. So just raise your child bilingual. Don't worry, children don't confuse languages, they just benefit from it.